Well, good morning, guys. How is everybody? Thanks for having us. A little bit of a chilly morning here this morning. You guys are just fine. How is everybody? Good.
We haven't finished our news yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Are we good? Do we need to wait 5 minutes? Well, we were just laughing too because Dan over here, who's doing the camera, had to raise the tripod a little bit because my friend Dr. Doss here is a little tall. So with that, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Brian Doss. He is our newest family medicine doctor, and he covers a lot of different things. So he's not only in the clinic, but in other settings. So I'll let him kind of expand on that. But we'll go into a little bit about him, some of his specialties, and then open up if you guys have any questions. So if you guys need coffee rolls, raise your hand. We'll be happy to help you. Thanks for letting us come today.
Okay. I am mostly in the clinic right now. If you come to the clinic for any reason, I can see you. If you get pregnant, I'll see you too. Well, yep. But doing even minor skin surgeries I'm doing in clinic, really anything. Also working in the hospital a little bit. So if you get admitted to the hospital for any reason, you might see me. Hang on, I'm on call. I'm also covering labor and delivery. That's what that was about. No one's giving birth right now, so we're good. And then I'm also doing colonoscopies and EGDs. If basically it's like a scope into your stomach or a scope through your bottom looking for colon cancer and other stuff going on. I came here from Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and that was the farthest north I've ever lived before, so this will be an adventure this winter. We got 3 inches of snow last year. I was told it's a lot more here usually. And ironically, we got the first blizzard warning we'd ever had in like 150 years. So it's like they were just trying to prepare me or something. But I was there for 5 years in training for the family medicine stuff and also doing emergency medicine training. So I will be covering the ER as well. So if you just walk into the hospital, you may run into me somewhere. I try to stalk the walls, if you know what I mean. Before that, I was in Texas, southeast Texas predominantly. I lived on a farm, a horse farm, in the middle of a national forest. Our closest town had 900 people, about 10 minutes away, and one stoplight outside of town. And we had a Subway. That was our fast food restaurant. I think like 2 gas stations, like a Brookshire Brothers. It's sort of like the equivalent of a Plum Creek grocery here. That was about it. There wasn't a whole lot there. The big thing to see was the courthouse. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I ran into Dr. Clommer in a conference in Denver, and that's where I first found out about Lexington and this community, and then inadvertently ran into him again at a different spot, and then he sucked me in. So one of the things that one of the primary reasons I was hired was for the colonoscopies and EGDs, trying to get people checked for colon cancer, just because it's something that it's routinely overlooked. There's not as there's not as much publicity about it as like prostate cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, but it still kills a lot of people. In the world, it's the second most common cause of cancer death. In the US, it's the third. And most people don't get checked. Where I was at in Louisiana, it was about 50% of everyone, like half the people got checked for it in the past few years, and so it gets overlooked a lot. And usually you don't have any symptoms. If you do, it's kind of getting a little late in the game. Generally speaking, it's like somewhere around like 55 or 45 is where you start, and then anywhere from like 75, 85 is when you end, kind of depending on how healthy you are. Because it's kind of poor form to try to put someone to, because we sedate people for colonoscopy, so it's poor form to put someone to sleep and then they have a difficulty waking up, so we try not to do that. We'll also do EGDs as well, so if you have like heartburn, reflux, difficulty swallowing, that's all reasons to get it checked out and make sure there's not like any cancer growing, there's not like a stricture, like stuff is getting stuck, just to get it looked at. I think that's about it. Questions, comments for me?
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Yeah.
family life?
Oh, I've got a wife. I forgot I was supposed to mention her.
We won't care.
Yeah.
She's from an unincorporated community outside of San Antonio. They had a volunteer fire department. That was it. And then I got two boys, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Great.
The 1-year-old has learned how to climb down the stairs, and so we're nervously watching him do that. He's trying to mimic our 3-year-old who gets on his stomach and slides down really fast. And our 3-year-old, he's got like blonde hair, blue eyes, and don't know where he gets that from. And believe it or not, he's also tall. He's never been on the growth chart for his height. And he loves it here because he says there's more sticks here compared to Louisiana. Especially this week. He was having a blast after the storm.
Oh my.
Running around, picking them up and moving them, and all the sticks in the yard got moved somewhere. Usually out of the pile into the grass.
Right.
He also loves all the parks. As we're driving around, he's like, "Oh, I want to stop at that playground," and he'll see them before we do. And we're like, "No, we can't stop now. We got places we got to go. Plus, it's really hot right now." He also loves the splash pads, playing in the water. He doesn't like the one in Cozad very much because he turned it on and then immediately there's like a big bucket with I don't know how many hundreds of gallons of water and it immediately splashed on him, and he hasn't forgotten. He remembers things like that. I once threw out he got an egg carton that was supposed to be like a caterpillar, and it's basically broken, so I threw it out, and then he saw me throw it out, and then he hasn't let me live it down. That was like a week ago, and he still mentions it. But he's just a terror, in the best way.
3-year-old too.
Yeah.
Good boys.
Yep.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do we have any confirmed cases of our lovely parasite in Lexington?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that anyone's told me, at least.
Well, they probably would have told you.
I hope so. I think it's reached Nebraska, but I don't think it's reached Lexington.
I hadn't heard anybody.
Really?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Did you go to school in Louisiana?
I did most of my school in Texas. For high school, I was homeschooled on our horse farm, and then went to Texas A&M, and then to University of Texas, and then most of my medical training was at the University of Texas and then Louisiana State University. So a little bit of everywhere. Made a lot of enemies because I've abandoned one tribe and gone to the next. And
They thought you should stay?
Yeah.
they all did.
How does your family feel about you being way up here?
They haven't said anything to my face. I don't. Who knows what's said behind my back? But they've
How
been
long have you been here?
about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Grandma and Grandpa are in Hartford.
Yep.
Real good.
Well, they're lucky they can make it up.
Yeah. And I think they're planning to. We just told them wait till we get into our final house because.
Or come help them.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, good idea.
We can tell them we moved in a week ahead of time, and then when they get here, we'll have a surprise for them.
Yeah.
But
So
they've all
what
been.
is your preferred thing to do? I mean, I know you do family practice and you've got all these extra things you can do. You can do ER, you can do all these colonoscopies and procedures. What do you enjoy the most?
There's no one thing. I like it all equally. That's my problem. The only thing I kind of hate is like the neurology side of things, like strokes and whatnot. I don't like it. My problem is I like just about everything. So, yeah. That's why I say I'm a terrible family medicine doc or I'm a terrible ER doc, and it's because I just like it all.
That's good. And you're very well versed.
Yep.
Terrible, yeah. Versatile.
Maybe you talk briefly about your approach to rural medicine, or being able to do these different specialties. Usually we see you kind of in a variety of different manners, or an appointment
Yeah, that's true.
lead into a scope, or maybe talk about that.
I am coming from where I worked before, it's a larger city. It's like about 200,000 people, and the care there is very fragmented, to where you see one person for one problem, another person for a different problem, and no one actually really knows you, and no one knows like your family, and they know nothing, and so it almost sounds bad, but I feel like you're treated like a problem and not like a person, and because of that, at least in part, I'm a big proponent of, as much as you can keep it within the same like physician or doc provider or just the same group, so everyone knows. I'm a big proponent of that, just because it keeps the humanity in medicine. I feel like that's being lost.
I feel like the family doctor is my general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
He never hesitates to call in somebody if I need him, and whatever, or send me, but
Yeah.
he knows all of me.
Yeah. And I think it's a whole lot. It's easier to keep that in a smaller community like Lex. Any other? I can answer anything about anything. My wife says I talk too much. We can take it out.
Okay, your name again?
Brian Doss.
Did you hear that, Connie?
DOSS, like the old computer system.
I know Connie was asking about the
We're
different
aging us
cases
now.
of parasite. I guess I don't know much about that or what that even looks like. Are you knowledgeable on that, or things for people to watch for, or?
Not enough on a recorded line. In a public setting, no. It's typically more like GI symptoms, and it's usually more in like people who have traveled. So we are at risk here, but it's really hard to say of what it mimics a lot of things, but it's going to be a lot of like diarrhea and stomach problems.
Has there been any improvements in the preparation for colonoscopy?
There have been.
That's one of the worst parts of it.
It is bad. There have been improvements. There's where I was at before, it was still the terrible gallon jug of terrible tasting stuff. Here it's some packets mixed into some Gatorade, much more palatable. They've also recently come out with tablets that you take. You just have to drink a lot of water with it, because basically it's like you mix it in your stomach, if you will. And so it's a lot more palatable. And we can always, I know the standard protocol here is to mix the stuff with some Gatorade, but if that doesn't work, I can call in the little tablets to take and clean and do the prep that way. Now, nothing's taken away the living in the bathroom for the night. That's still there. Just get a cot in the bathroom.
What days do you do those tests?
Mondays right now, but it can be any day because we're flexible and that's flexible.
Weekend technique.
Yep.
What are you doing this weekend?
We kind of plan that, especially for the working folks of, I can't take 2 days off of work, so if I can prep on a Sunday, get done on Monday, go back to work on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Dodd.
Of course.
Good to have more community here.
Welcome to Lexington.
Thank you.
Hey, that's okay.